to yet another edition of the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And great to have you here. And we're with you each and every Wednesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. And a special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music, who is our sponsor for the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show, and Mr. Stephen Brady, who supplies all of our amazing artists each and every weekend. This week, we are certainly not going to disappoint you. We have got an amazing Canadian artist, and her name is BBN. And we're going to go live and meet her in just a moment. And again, if you have any comments, go ahead and put them into our comment line there, and we'll ask her questions during the show. In the meantime, sit back and relax. Here comes the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And now let's go to our artist, Miss BB Ann. How are you? How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
We are doing great. Well, thank you to come into our show. And so how's the weather up there in Canada?
You know what? Surprisingly, I thought today was supposed to be pretty nice. It's pretty crappy. It's like a rainy, cold day. I actually put my flip flops on this morning because last week we've had some like beautiful weather, and I was like, I'm gonna put my flip flops on again. I go outside, and pretty sure everybody was wondering why is this girl wearing flip flops? It's like six. It's 6 out here. It's freezing, but the sun's out, so I guess we can't complain when the sun's out.
There you go. Well, let's start off our show. And can you share with our listeners how did your musical journey begin, and where are you at right now?
Whew. All right. Well, I guess musical journey. Growing up, I always loved singing. I always said I wanted to be a singer. I never really had. Actually, I guess I had confidence in like grade. I think it was grade four. I was the narrator of the Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and you know what? After grade school, I kind of went and pursued more sports for school and never really got into the music too much. Still always wanted to sing, just wasn't really, I guess, confident. I remember when I was in grade 10, my mom actually took me to like a recording artist in Toronto near where I live. And when we got there, she's like, okay, well, sing something for me. And I froze. I couldn't do it. I honestly couldn't do it. And I remembered being there with her, and it was just my mom and like this one woman. And I was like, no, I can't do it. And I don't know what, something inside me just wouldn't allow me to do it. And long story short, a couple years ago, actually probably about 5 years ago, I started singing with my dad and his band. He does like a oldies kind of rock cover band, always something he wanted to do. So I kind of just started singing with him, and it was fun to do, but I didn't really enjoy it too much, I guess, because it wasn't really my genre of music. It wasn't something that I wanted to sing. I actually had to convince them one time to allow me to sing Sheryl Crow. So it was like a big thing for me. And then to be honest, a couple of years ago is when my musical journey started. So I showed up to a friend's house one night. Her husband's in a band, and she's like, just come check out the band. It'll be fun. We'll just hang out in the garage. I remember sitting there and being like, oh, these guys are awesome. And they write their own songs. It's original music. So it wasn't like I went somewhere and was listening to like all covers or anything like that. I've never heard these songs before. And I was like, wow, these guys wrote all their music. I ended up I guess loving the idea of being able to play an instrument and writing my own music. So I had a guitar my dad bought me. I don't want to tell you my age, but we'll go with over a decade ago. And I decided to pick it up. I started like didn't know how to play the guitar before. I took I think 2 lessons when I was 20 years old, and I got the G, the C chord kind of idea, but never really went further with it until the last couple years. And once I started, it was hard, but I was having fun. And then I was like, oh, I can play this song or this song, like songs I actually liked. So I started doing that for a little bit. And then I decided to attempt writing a song. So I wrote a bunch of songs, and then I wrote, simple chord structure songs idea, and I was very new with the guitar, still simple chords. Um, and I remember going in one night to that same said garage, and I would jam out with them, like just mess around here and there kind of idea. And I was like, I want to play you guys a song. So I played them a full song. And I remember the garage, it's a tiny garage, but there was quite a few people in there. And I remember one of the guys who wasn't in the band, but came all the time. After I was done, I remember him saying, that was really good. He's like, I love that song. Whose song is that? And I was like, I wrote it. So I was kind of like, gave me some little tiny spark to be like, maybe I should write more. And then I kind of went manic. Probably for about a month and wrote a ton of songs. Not all of them had music or anything, but just started writing and then I guess just started going with it. And I started writing a bunch of music. I was practicing, I heard most people practice 1 to 3 hours a week when you're starting out. I was practicing 3 hours a day. I was like, no, I want to
Oh,
get
wow.
this. I want to learn. I want to be able to play. I want to get better kind of idea. And then, yeah, I guess it's just kind of transpired since then. It's been a couple years. That's been my journey to bring me where I am here today.
That's awesome. How did you connect with blues shamrock music? Walk us through that process.
I have been in contact with, I believe it's kind of their Canadian partner. His name was Rob Moody. So he's kind of like their contact down here on this end, and I believe the Blue Shamrock is kind of, is it more Australia based? Is that where they are out of?
They
Or
are.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So I had met Rob Moody with my second single I put out, "Mean to My Heart." He had found my song and reached out to me, and then ended up kind of like helping me promo that song for a bit, which was awesome. Made it to the Canadian Indie Country chart after how many weeks was it? I think it was 16 weeks or 19 weeks or something. We made it from spot 135 to number two. Never made it to number one, but it was still awesome. So that's kind of how I connected with the Blue Shamrock Radio. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So let's talk about your music. Let's talk about the music you have right now, and are you working on anything else?
I'm always working. I feel like since I've started, that's kind of one of the things I said. Like, I don't think that there's been even a slight pause. Like, I feel like I can't pause, maybe just because I enjoy it so much. So every day, regardless of work or what I'm doing, I'm kind of like in the back of my mind, it's always about the music. But I just recently released an EP 2 Thursdays ago. So I released 4 brand new songs. um they mean, I guess, quite a bit to me. It was kind of nice, a little bit longer of a process than I had hoped, but we got it done and then we finally got it out. And I think now I'm gonna just kind of like take a hold back from recording because time, money, we don't have it all. So but I have definitely a large spectrum of songs that I've written that we also sing and perform. They're just not recorded yet. So we're kind of like taking our time and picking and choosing which ones that I feel I want to put out first.
So now that we're talking about your music, let's talk about your
Mm.
songwriting. How does that come
Mm.
about? Is it from personal experiences? I know some artists because we interview artists like all the time, and
Yeah.
some artists say that they have like a it's like a laptop with all these different words and different beats. They kind of like match the words to the beats. Then we have some artists that actually write from their heart, from personal experiences. What does your songwriting look like?
So for I'd say about let's go with 99.9% of my songs come from right here. I've written them all. They all mean something to me. They've all come from something that meant something to me, or, something that has happened, good, bad, ugly kind of idea. I always get this general idea and then kind of start writing. Some of them are very personal. I released my probably most personal song I've ever written on my EP, but some of them are, sparked from kind of like something fun that happened, but it still made me want to write a song about it, if that makes sense. So they don't always like, it's not always a song that really means too much, but they're always from my heart. Like it just doesn't come from anywhere. It comes from what I'm feeling, I guess. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So let's talk about about now your musical journey here. Have you come across any like really famous artists, and if so, have they given you any words of advice as it relates to the music industry
Like to my music or just like in
in general?
general have
So
I
I mean,
met?
yeah, in general.
Um I am a huge concert junkie. So to be honest with you, I don't know how many concerts I've been to. Even in the last 2 years, probably been to 35 concerts in the last year to like 2.5 years. I've met a lot of artists. I've been kind of fortunate to meet quite a few, like even bigger artists, just because of the concert tickets that I got. Kind of like knowing someone here and there. And you know what? I haven't really spoken to said artists about my music because, like, usually when I go somewhere, I'm there for that artist, not about me, if that makes sense. But I've definitely, watched other artists. And I think for me, being able to open up as an artist myself is, watching those artists who are writing those songs who mean a lot to them. Watching those artists who are writing songs that they're afraid to share with people because they're afraid of what maybe somebody might thinks about them, or they're afraid to share those feelings. But I found that being able to share those feelings and being able to get those words and the music out. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's angry, but being able to get that out, it's almost like you're putting that music out there and you're having all these other people feel it. And I guess with meeting other artists, I just realize, I guess, they're kind of like me. Like I've met quite a few people, and I for some reason don't have I've never had that artist struck thing. Like if I meet somebody, I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" And I feel like I just talk way too much, but I'm just so excited. But any artist that I've ever met is just honestly, it's like you do you. That's kind of like what I've taken from that because I want to do me. I would love to, I want to be my own artist. I don't want to be someone else's artist or, like copy or follow someone. Like I write my own songs because they're mine, I guess, if that makes sense. And that's what I really enjoy about a lot of the artists I love and follow is they write all their own songs. And that's what I enjoy about the singer songwriter thing is like finding out why these people wrote these songs.
So let's stay in the concert. You're at the concert. Check out an artist.
Yeah.
With you being an artist, I mean, would it be fair to say that you're kind of like watching what they do, how they control the crowd, how they read a crowd, and their movements on the stage, so on and so forth? If so, is there anything that maybe you could take away to maybe incorporate into your show?
Oh, 100%. Um, you know what? I find in this area, like where I'm from, I find that a lot of local shows or a lot of the shows I've seen or seen or watched, um, and I don't mean this by like meaning anything, but it's a lot of like male driven bands here, like male singers, male driven, like that sort of idea. So I lost my train of thought. I'm very, very sorry.
Oh no, you're
Um,
fine.
no, um, I'm just trying to think of where I was going with that train of thought. I'm so sorry. Uh, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I
All right, well,
kind of
let's
like
switch
lost
gears
my
then,
train
okay?
of thought. I'm so
You're fine.
sorry.
Hey, as I told you, right? When you come to the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show, expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. Exactly. I just laugh at myself. Laugh at myself in the video.
Oh no, you're fine. And so, as we stay in the music discussions here, do you have any favorite bands
Like in general, like
in
you can
general?
be
Yeah, I
in
mean, other
general.
than your
Oh.
amazing artists, is there anyone like you love listening to?
Um, One of my top favorite artists I love listening to is Morgan Wade. She's a newer artist to the industry. I found a lot of her songs really connected with me. Not all of them really meant anything to me, but that was one artist that I really watched, and I got to watch her because I saw her music. on Spotify, like where when I first started following her, and she kind of went from, I to be honest, like kind of like this to like she's like huge now. But like watching her songs and being able to follow her and like seeing the progress, and like I love her music. She's so raw and original, and she's just kind of like, I love that um music that's stripped back. So if you're like you're playing a song, or even when it's on, you're recording or wherever you're streaming, I love the stripped back music. So Morgan Wade would be one of my top kind of artists. Um, Aside from that, like my music spectrum goes, it's wild. It goes from like, you know, 80s, 90s rock to punk to country to like my dad's music, like the oldie, like the Eagles. I love the Eagles. Like it's kind of like I love I don't have a said band that I listen to every day. I listen to all music every day, if that makes sense.
If you had one choice to meet one famous artist, who would it be and why?
Ooh, who would it be and why? Let me think. I was sad I didn't get to meet Morgan Wade, so I would like to meet her. I saw her last year at this little tiny venue across the border in the States, and I wish I could have met her because she was such a big inspiration to me when it came to me starting to write my own music and being able to put out real feelings into music. So she would probably be my top. Um, I was, I think, 10 people back from her when I went to go watch her concert. I wish she would have came out. So she's definitely somebody I would love to meet. Big, like bigger mainstream kind of idea. Shania Twain.
There you go.
I'd love to meet her. Yeah, I would love her. Canadian, like she's blows me away, blows me away. Just her when she started out and just seeing her like rock a stage, like I try. I'm still working on a lot of my stage performance, but watching women like that, like whew, like I don't know. I don't know where they get that spark from, but I'm trying to get it.
Well, I mean, you've only been in the business for 2 years, so you got your whole future ahead of you, and you're definitely on the right track, and you're doing the right thing. By doing the interviews, getting your music out, and networking. I can
Yes,
honestly tell you, I've been in the music business for a long time, and networking is absolutely critical. I
right.
mean, because without
Seems
networking,
that way. Yeah.
Exactly. Without networking, people don't know who you are. They don't know nothing about your music, and that's what I love about this show is we get to bring on artists just like yourself to get them the exposure to introduce you to the general public so they can be aware of you of what you do and everything. With that being said, what is your thoughts about the music industry as a whole today? What do you think about it? You like it? Anything you want to change? What are your thoughts?
uh you know what? I guess being so new coming into it, there's a lot of things, I guess, you just don't know as an artist, right? So coming into it new, even when it comes down to like the smallest little things, recording a song, I I get frustrated sometimes because of how it's kind of like a um social media driven thing sometimes, right? It's like social media, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it's almost just like, well, can I just go sing? Like, I don't want to sit here and do all these like, like all the reels, like I love doing it, but it's like time consuming, and I don't have the luxury of this being my full-time job. This is my side job. So it's like to have a second job to put so much effort in, I guess you wish it could just be like your full-time job. um Music industry though, like for me, I've been very fortunate here where I am to have met some really cool people that have been very like all inclusive idea. So I like the idea of being all inclusive. Like when I meet an artist or another band around here, like I love the idea of them being like, "Oh, we should go play, or you should come hang out, or we could do this and that." But then you also meet some artists who are like, they don't want nothing to do with you because you're new. And I don't. That's not the person I am. But I understand it, if that makes sense. And then I just, you get to learn things about the industry. Like, I didn't realize, to be honest with you, that a lot of singer songwriters are not singer songwriters. Like, they're, and I mean that in the sense of, like, say, I don't know what famous person, but say it was a famous person, right? And they have all these amazing songs. They're like, this is that singer songwriter. But then you go and find out that they didn't write anything. They bought all their songs. I didn't know that was a thing, to be honest with you. So I guess on my end, that part's a little bit, I'm not opposed to that, but I like the idea of writing my own music. So I guess that's maybe where I fall into like the category of liking the artists that actually do write their own content.
Yeah, I
But
would agree with you. I mean, the music industry as a whole has really changed a lot, and it kind of like we talked about earlier in the show, right? About what does the songwriting look like? And as I mentioned early part of the show, there are artists have like words, they have the beats, and they kind of like match them together. And then, as you just mentioned moments ago, where there's actually artists now that actually don't have the time to write, and they actually purchase music, then they kind of like turn that music into their own style.
well,
And
and that's, I
yeah,
guess that's the frustrating part. I guess is like, I think not frustrating, but it's just like, if you're going to promote something and you're going to say, "Oh, this is my, this is my song. This is my, I don't know, say it was a sad song regardless. Like, say it was a sad song. This is my sad song." Um None of those feelings belong to that artist. Does that make sense? So I'm very more singer songwriter than I am, let's just pump out music, if that makes sense, right? Like, anyone can pump out music, like you're saying, like, do this, do this, do that. I enjoy being the writer, though, I guess. So for me, everyone's different too, right? But me personally, I enjoy being able to write the music and to be able to share my thoughts and or feelings with other people, because on in my head, I want to connect with them, but like actually connect with them.
awesome. Let's
Yeah.
take you on stage now. You're getting ready to
Okay.
go on stage. Huge crowd.
Right.
Getting ready to check out you and your music, right? Do you have
Ah,
any pre-concert rituals? Do you do anything before you go live on stage?
freak out
Oh,
every single
little
time.
sheep there, huh?
No, I always have this like little anxiety. One of my last shows, one of my girlfriends was over and she's like, "I've never seen you before a show. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." I'm always like, I get this weird, I feel like I don't really even get, I get nervous, but I get like slap happy, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like anything's happy, anything's fun. But I get like this little nervous thing where I'm always like, "Can you hold me? Just hold me for a minute before I go on stage." And I need that like comfort hug before I go out there. Not sure why. I always like to warm up vocals. I always rap before I go on stage because I like to warm up my vocals, and I like to rap. So I don't do that on stage, but that helps me warm up my vocals. So whether it be in a green room with like another band or two, they're listening to me like rapping music. Like, it's just so funny. But other than that, there's not really like too much. I I enjoy being able to get ready and not like it be chaotic, but I've also had shows where I had to work and then I had kids and then I had to get ready and I was like, "Oh, I never want to do this again." And then I've had shows where it's like I don't have my kids for that morning or whatever, and it's like a breeze to get ready. But rituals is honestly just kind of like, my only real ritual, I think, is probably like rapping a song to warm up my vocals and maybe a fireball shot.
Well, this was a family
Maybe
show.
two. It's a family show?
Well, it was. Hey, I want to
Oh,
go back. I
that's
want to go
fine.
back
I'm
to
an adult.
the.
I'm an adult.
I
Adults
want to go
are
back to
allowed.
what you just said though about the you do some rapping before you go live on stage. Can you like
Yeah.
share an example with us? Come on.
Oh, an example,
Just
eh?
think outside the box. I mean, our listeners watching now that we'll be watching later. We like to entertain them on the
Oh, okay.
Music Dreams USA Artist
My
Spotlight Show.
my favorite rap song is like, I don't know if you know that astronaut song, but there's a girl version, Jill the Ill or something like that. So I like to put that song all the time and rap, but I don't know if you really want me to try to think of the
Yeah, go
lyrics right
for it.
now.
I
I
mean,
like to
hey,
listen to
expect
it
the
when I do it,
unexpected.
but okay, let me just think. All right, so it goes like, she says that I'm cool, damn straight. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Okay, wait, I can't do it. You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah,
Ah,
we do that all the time.
I know. Ah, I could rap another one, but it has swearing in it, so I don't know what to do. He said it's a family show.
Well, so much for that idea, huh? Well, you gave us a little portion of it. So for the little portion you gave us, that was awesome. I tip my hat to you.
There's like I know. I was like, there's like the other song I want to rap is like an exhibit song, and it's not appropriate. So it's like,
Okay, let me
I'll
ask
do the
you
first.
this.
I can do like the first part of it, and I'll bleep it out. But it's like, yes, I'm a mess. I'm so different from the rest, and I stay in your system, so you can call me X. With two ladies on these ladies, they go crazy. First she, then she ate me, then she pay me. Call it pimping, but you ain't got a pimp bone in it. If you see a bad thing, go and get it. So there you go. I'll bleep out all the swearing.
Oh, that was awesome! Woo! That was awesome. I told
I
you we're gonna
remember
have
that.
fun on the show.
Yeah. I remember the one the first times I was in a green room with two other bands. There's like one of it was a charity event we were doing, and it was I've kind of been the opener for everything in my last year, just because I'm so new. So I've had a few of my own little hour shows, but like for bigger shows, I'm like the opener. So I'm like, okay, guys, you guys all got to be quiet. It's like I'm the only girl out of five, nine guys, right? So I'm like, you guys got to be quiet. I got to rap. And they're like, huh? Like, turn on astronaut in the ocean, and they're like looking at me, and they're like, what are you doing? They're like, you can rap? And I'm like, guys, yeah, just warm up my vocals.
That's
So yeah,
awesome. Thank you
that was
so
it.
much. You've
Yeah.
been such a joy to be on our show. I mean, I wish we had like 1,000 more artists just like you.
Oh, that's sweet. That would be nice.
We love Canada. Let me tell you, we love the Canadian artists. My partner in crime, her name is Shauna Brown, as I mentioned, and she does the
Yeah.
morning show with me. And I can remember when we interviewed her on the show, and it was kind of funny. I actually had her do the same thing I just had you do, where she talked about like how she gets warmed up and everything,
Yeah.
and then she's like, and I'm like, well, how do you get warmed up? Well, I kind of like rap to a few songs. I'm like, well,
Ah,
would you like to
nice.
share one with us? She's like, you're not serious, are you? I'm like, I'm as serious as a heart attack.
She's
and
like,
and then a
what?
minute later, she had a crowd. It was a live show, and she had the crowd standing to their feet, begging for more.
I love it. I
It was
love it. See,
amazing.
now I know for any next interviews, I gotta get my rap on, okay? Like, I make sure everything's prepared. I thought I was prepared, but
Oh no, you're doing amazing on the show this evening. You're doing absolutely amazing, and we are so glad to have you. And again, for those watching now that will be watching later, it's your friend Russell K, and you are watching live on all of our social media outlets. The Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show being brought to you by Blue Shamrock Music. A special thank you to Mr. Stephen Brady and our guest. She's an amazing artist from Canada. It's BB Ann, and she is from Canada. We're so
woo.
glad to have her. So let me ask you this. When you're not in the music scene, do you have any hobbies?
Well, um, I am a mom of three little boys, so that's kind of a hobby. Kind of takes up a lot of my time. Um, a hobby other than the music scene, though. You know what? I've always been very artsy, but aside from that, like, little projects around the house here and there. I work full time too, so there's really not too much extra time for hobbies. My hobby is my music, I guess. So, work's done, kids are in bed, that's where I go. This is my hobby kind of idea. Like, it's my second, one day hope to be my first hobby, but yeah, other than that, like, there's not I I'm kind of quite focused on this right now. So,
Awesome. Well,
mhm.
congratulations. And we
Thank
definitely
you.
wish you all the best as you move forward in your young career in the music business. So if you could share with our listeners, how can they get in contact with you and how can they listen to your amazing music?
Yeah, so all of my music is available to stream wherever you do stream your music, Spotify, Apple, and or anywhere. I have a website that I built myself too as well, www.bbnmusic.com. All of my socials are at BBN Music, so Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, that kind of thing, all BBN Music. So if you look at BBN Music, that is the way. On my website, there is also a way to contact me via email. So anybody wants to chat this, that about music. I'm very open to answering all my social media messages as well. So even today, I had somebody message me from, like Missouri. I forget where he was from. Never met him before, but if somebody's going to message me something real, I'm going to write back because I want to engage with any of my fans and or followers. So, as long as it's family appropriate, I'm going to message you back. So, but yeah, that's about it. Or come to Canada.
There you go. We love Canada, don't we? We love Canada. And so, as we wind down our interview this evening, is there any final thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
Final thoughts, eh? Mm.
Did I do a really good job of getting those questions out to you this evening, huh?
Yeah. I was trying to think my final thoughts. I don't know. I wish I could see the audience, I guess. My final thoughts. I'm very fortunate to be here, to be having you interview me on my music. To be honest, 2 years ago, I never would have thought, like, not that I never would have thought, but seeing myself where I am now as of 2 years ago, I'm just kind of like, wow, I love this track. I love where I am. I would love my listeners to check out my new EP, especially my new single off that Lonely. Probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written. So I think the message is really good in that song, Lonely. So I would love people to listen to that song.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can send us some of your music we give away on the Russell K. Alexa and Shauna Brown Morning Show. We'll give away
Yeah.
some of your stuff on the air. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure.
As we wind down, if there's one thing that I know you're only 2 years into the music industry, right? But
Hmm.
for the first 2 years, if there's one thing that you could change in the music industry, what do you think it would be?
In the music industry.
Right. The first 2 years, you're in it for 2 years. Is there something that you would want to have changed? What would it be and why?
Hmm. You know what? I'm not even quite sure yet. I don't know if I have an answer for that yet. I love what you do. Like I love all of the people I've met that do these said interviews and these kind of like, like not mainstream artist interviews and those kind of things. So like to be able to be a part of this, maybe that's why I don't really have anything that I've wanted to change because I still, there's still ways to talk to people and kind of get your music out. It is hard, I think, to get your music out, like we were saying, like meeting contacts and things and stuff like that. Like you anybody, I could put my EP out and not one person can hear it. So for me, I guess it is a little difficult being on, I guess it on my own, trying to promote my own music. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I'm here to play my music and work hard. I'm a hard worker. So it's like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to do it, if that makes sense. So I don't really have anything I'd change yet. Talk to you in a few years.
Oh, we're gonna have you back on the show before that.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
We're gonna call it the BB and rap portion of the show.
Oh, I like and I will be prepared with like 3 or 4, okay?
We will be so ready. Well, again,
uh
it was so nice to meet you, and
yeah, thank
thank
you
you
for
for your
having
time
me. It's
this
nice to meet
evening.
you
And
too.
you've been nothing short than amazing. And
Thank
as
you.
I mentioned earlier, certainly wish you all the best as you move forward. And
Yeah.
special thank you to Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady for
Yes,
allowing
thank you,
us
Steven.
to bring you on our show tonight. And unless you don't have anything else to say, definitely I want to wish you all the best. And thank you for the laughter today. You were an absolute blessed to have on the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're a great example of why I love doing this.
Oh, well,
My boss is
thank
probably
you.
watching. My boss watches all the shows, and after I get
Yeah.
done with the shows, he says, "Well, I like this about the show, and I didn't like that about the show, and I like this and that." So I think with this
Hopefully
show,
he likes me.
oh
Just
yeah,
kidding.
my boss is gonna love you.
Just kidding. That's funny. I had a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Thank you for making me feel uncomfortable. Just kidding. You made me feel very comfortable. So it was great, even with the questions that were thrown offside. You can never really prepare. So all these things I'll bring into any next interviews, right? But that's good.
You did an
Thank
amazing job.
you. I had a lot of
All
fun.
right. All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show with our friend from Canada, BB Ann. And what an amazing interview it was. Well, if you want to see this interview in its entirety, you can certainly do so. Just go to all of our social media outlets. You can download the interview and you can replay it live on all of our social media outlets. And also, Blue Shamrock Music, special thank you to Mr. Stephen Brady. And as I just mentioned, a special thank you to BBN for being on the show this evening. Until next week, please tell your family and friends and coworkers about our show each and every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. We are live with Blue Shamrock Music, and next week we're gonna have another really exciting artist to bring down the ring to you. Until then, it's your friend Russell K wishing you and yours a very pleasant good evening, and thank you so much for watching and supporting Music Dreams USA Radio. Good night, everyone. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful evening.